Hey guys, I'm here to talk to you today about Legend of Legacy. It's an upcoming 3DS game from the dev team at FuRyu. They're not that well known, so the game came out earlier this year in January for the 3DS in Japan. It's due to come out in North America on the 13th of October, and we're getting it early next year. So FuRyu, most of their games haven't been localized actually. Their last game that was Unchained Blades. And that only came out in North America for the PSP and then for the 3DS. We never got that one. Now this game actually has a lot of the staff members who also worked on the Saga series, which the first three games were localized as Final Fantasy Legends. So if you played Final Fantasy Legends or if you played Saga, you'll be very, very familiar. You'll be very at home with these games. You'll find them very familiar. So we've got the designer, the illustrator, the background designer, and the composer from the Saga/Final Fantasy Legends series have worked on this game. The person who did the background design also notably worked on the first Final Fantasy Tactics game. The director worked on Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Explorers of Sky. Our character designer worked on Brave Fencer Musashi and Final Fantasy XII. Our background artist also worked on Secret of Mana and Super Mario RPG, as well as Final Fantasy Tactics. The monster design worked on Final Fantasy IX, Crystal Chronicles, and Xenogears. And our composer has worked on many games in the Final Fantasy series and in the Saga series. But the staff member who got me really, really excited for this game, I just freaked out when I found out who it was. He's Misato Kato. He's worked on Ninja Gaiden, he's worked on Final Fantasy VII, he worked on Chrono Trigger, Chrono Cross, lots of games in the Mana series, Baten Kaitos, and my second favourite game of all times, Xenogears. This is also, Legend of Legacy is the best-selling game to date from FuRyu, and apparently it was purchased by a lot of the people who bought it were all old fans of the Saga series. So in terms of story, the idea behind this game was that there wasn't going to be a huge overarching story. It was mainly going to be about exploration, and as you explored, you just sort of find out more about the continent. It's set on Avalon, and just the aim is just to explore as much as possible and find out what's going on. It's said that the Isle of Avalon was once inhabited by gods, and then they just abandoned it and the island disappeared. And then 10 years before the events of the game, it sort of came back and was rediscovered, and they've just finished building a village on it, and they've set up trade routes and all kinds of things. So an interesting thing about the island of Avalon is that it's the only place in the in-game world where spirits from the spirit world come and sort of materialize. They're sort of present all over the place, but this is the Isle of Avalon is the only place where you can actually see them. No one's really sure why, but they're pretty sure it has something to do with the fact that the island was once inhabited by the gods. The game looks gorgeous, by the way. All the backgrounds are hand-drawn, and they're overlain with 3D animations, and it looks absolutely beautiful. I just love it, especially if you look at the background for the first town. Well, it's the only town, actually. It's called Initium, and it just looks so pretty. I love it so much. So just sort of as you're exploring, the main objective, well, I guess, is just to explore, just to find, people are looking for this thing called the Star Grail, which is said to grant immortality. The town of Initium was started by a guy who calls himself the Adventure King. He set up the town, he set up all the trade routes, and it's sort of, the town's just been finished before the events of the game. The trade routes, that has a street pass feature in the game, so in the game you can send out small, medium and large boats to go out and get you supplies. Small boats cost the least, they take the least amount of time and they bring back less stuff. The larger boats, they take longer to get back, they cost more to send out, they come back with more stuff and rarer stuff, so if you can, they're the best ones to send out. And if you street pass with other people who have been playing the game, then you can actually trade between, you guys will basically exchange some goods between your towns. So that's a pretty cool feature, I like that. I really like it when they incorporate Street Pass into games, because I'm a Street Pass addict. And it's interesting, as you sort of explore around the place, you can sort of see the effects of the spirits. There are sort of, you'll notice in the top corner, as you're exploring, there's sort of this circle that's got 4 colours filled in. And sort of, as you walk around a bit, the balance of the colours might change. And as that changes, it'll actually give you different sort of effects in battle. When I first started playing the demo, my opponent's got some sort of buff, I'm not sure exactly what, with the purple-coloured spirit thing, whatever it is. And then I got to this one area, where there were a couple of towers, and after I went up to them and interacted with them, they started to sort of exude this blue spirit aura thing, and that if I fought an enemy near that, that would increase, like, would sort of give me basically a regen ability. So, like, basically my characters would restore a bit of health at the end of every turn, which was really, really cool. So I'm sort of looking forward to see how they sort of interact later on in the game, and I reckon it seems like a really cool feature. It seems like a bit of strategy there involved there as well. So you've got 7 main characters. You've got Muir, who's an elementalist. You've got Liba the hunter, Owen, a bounty hunter, Bianca, who's just an amnesiac, we don't really know anything about her, Garnet the knight, Aloys the alchemist, and Filmia, who's a member of the frog tribe and is literally a frog. So with these 7 main characters, you've got this sort of this big you've got this one overarching plot, but when you start the game, you pick one of the characters, and then you get to play through that character's story, and if you start again and pick a different character, you get a different story, or a different perspective, I guess. So that gives the game, that seems like it'll give the game a fair bit of replayability, and yeah, it just seems really cool. I'm looking forward to playing through all the different characters. And this is sort of plays into the designer who's really wanted to emphasize the game's lack of linearity. He wanted to make it something where you just go out and explore, and you can explore wherever you want, whenever you want. That was the main objective of him creating this game. He just wants people to go out and explore the continent of Avalon. So you can play any of the characters in any order. You can jump onto the world map, go back to any other place you previously visited at any time. So it seems like it's going to be really cool. Another thing is you get out into areas. The map on the touchscreen will start to fill in. You'll notice there's a little percentage up in the corner. You don't have to fill out the entire thing to get the 100%, but you have to fill out almost all of it. Once you hit the 100%, it'll just fill out the rest of it for you, and then that map will be complete. But what's really cool is that you can go back to the town, and you can then sell maps that you've made. So that's a really nice way to get money. You can only sell each map once, and you can sell a map before you've 100%ed it, but you'll get less money for it. So I'd recommend probably you'd want to 100% it and then go back, because it's not that hard to 100% a map. It's pretty easy, so yeah. Another interesting thing to note is that, which I'm really happy about because this game is so pretty, you can take screenshots using Start or Select, which will automatically save to the 3DS's SD card, which you can then just like chuck into your computer or your camera or whatever, and you can do whatever you want with it. I really like that kind of feature. It means I can capture something really cool or something gorgeous, so I'm looking forward to that and posting my pictures up all over the place. It's going to be great. Battle in The Legend of Legacy is turn-based, like a traditional turn-based game. So there are a few different classes, a few different weapon types. Actually, pretty much any character can use any weapon, so you can just pick whichever one you like the most. Swords, great swords, axes, spears, staves, bows, and shields. And each weapon has its own special skill, which is also known as a battle skill. Some of them hit harder than others, some of these skills will give a special guard, and some have countering abilities. Depends on the type of weapon you got. Some of them can be leveled up and you can make them more powerful using the process of awakening, which I don't really know that much about. But it'll be interesting to find out more about it, and I'll be looking forward to customizing my skills a bit. Also, something that I found interesting was I noticed that a lot of the time my attack stat would level up in the middle of battle, whereas my level, my health, and my SP or skill points, they'd level up at the end after my experience points were tallied up. So it looks like your stats, your attack stat and your defensive stat, they both level up as you use them basically. So they can, let's go up in the middle of battle, which is pretty nice. Another point to make is that the battle positions in this game, they're important. You need to think about the different where you're putting your characters when you start up a battle. The game starts with 2 different formations. There was an attacking formation where they're all just sort of hanging out in the back and you just attack. And then there was one which was a defensive formation. So we had our knight up the front and in the middle, and our 2 attackers at the back, off to the sides. And what would happen is that I'd get my 2 attackers to attack, and then I'd get my knight to sort of use his shield. And then whenever someone tried to attack one of my attackers, the knight would jump in front and take the hit, which is great because he has high health and high defense. And then they could basically just beat the crap out of whatever we were fighting without themselves dying, which was nice because one of my characters had really low health and she was really, really squishy. The game starts you off with those 2, and then you can make your own and save them, and you can pick which one you want to use at the start of battle. Even, you actually pick them turn by turn. That's another cool thing about this game. You can equip a couple of different things to your characters, and you can choose whether you want to, that turn, you can choose whether you want to use your sword, or your shield, or your bow, or your accessory, or whatever you got equipped. So you just, flick across, pick whichever one you think will do the most. It'll have your your skills for that particular weapon that you've unlocked sort of just laid out underneath it, so you can easily see how much damage they'll do, how much SP they'll take up. So yeah, it's pretty nice. And I know the battle system for this game, this game looks so pretty. I'm looking forward to it so much. Legend of Legacy, it does have its New Game Plus. It will allow you to just play through the game again with stronger abilities, but your enemies will also get stronger. I'm not sure what else changes, I know that it exists, I don't know much beyond that, unfortunately. Anything you earn in the demos, any maps you make, any items you get, any grinding you do will transfer over to the full game, which is, I always like when they do stuff like that, so I'm looking forward to playing the crap out of the demo and getting a nice head start when the game releases. It's also worth noting that the game Legend of Legacy actually got a couple of themes for the 3DS in Japan, which looked really pretty, and they were actually what made me first look at the game. They were the things that caught my eye about it. And then I went back and looked over it and just went, wow, this game is incredible. They also confirmed, because the designer wants it to sort of be like a game that came out in the 90s, he confirmed there's going to be no DLC in the future either. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, The Legend of Legacy, developed by FuRyu, their first game to come to Europe, their second to get localized in the West. It's coming out in North America, October 13th, and they're getting a sweet launch edition with a 40-page art book and the soundtrack, which I hope NISA gives to us. And yeah, we're getting it early next year, thanks to NISA. Atlas will bring it over in North America. So, yeah, it looks like a really awesome game. I am, really excited for it. I keep gushing about it to my friends. And I hope you guys will at least check it out and find out why I'm so excited about it. Alright, thanks guys, see you next time.